Professor Mitchell's a great guy. I can see I can't get away from calling him Professor. Dr. Mitchell's he's been great all the time. He's been a real inspiration and a motivator in my life. So I really thank you for the opportunity to speak here. Thank you, my backbone, my lovely wife, Letitia Scott. You know, she's definitely, you know, the person behind the scenes pushing me, holding me up. So I really appreciate that support. Now, I know he mentioned that I'm a general contractor, commercial builder, general contractor for the state of Alabama. Also, that I have a cigar lounge, Black Cigar Lounge. If you're in Huntsville, I encourage you to go by. And some of you may have heard that I am a reality TV superstar. Yeah, that word is kind of funny. That word is kind of funny. Not superstar, but reality. You know, and that's what this conference is about right now. We're talking about reality, and it's funny, but people always see you on reality TV and they want to walk up to you and they want to tell you stuff that they probably should have left in the comments, but nevertheless, they tell you and they talk to you about it as if they know you anyway. And it's a funny word, reality, you know? And so I had to look it up. And so, because we were talking about the conference, I wondered what I was going to talk about. And it says the word reality, it talks about the state of the world not as idealistic as we think it should be, but the world as it actually is, right? So it's not the world that we actually see, or no, it's the world that we actually see, not the world that we think or the idealistic world that we have, right? So essentially, it's the world outside of our head, not the world inside of our head, right? That's the definition of the word reality. And so I had to think about that. I mean, is that a fair definition? Is it fair to say that the actuality that we see out here is more real than the idea we have in our mind? So I guess the question of reality is really the question of faith. Now, I know we all have different definitions of faith, so let me just choose Webster's now. Let's just say that it is the complete confidence in someone or something. So, in summary, reality, if reality is a question of faith, reality is the question of what world do we live in? Which world is real? Give you an example. Last night I was at Black and we were watching the Golden State versus Boston, right? And so, I mean, if you're a Laker fan or a Kobe fan, then by default, because you got to be with Golden State. So I'm going for Golden State the whole time, right? And a lot of people are going for Boston. And if you're like me, if you're a fan of the game, I don't really like being around people that are not going for my team because I kind of take it a little serious. So I don't like hearing, in your face, you know, we'll talk about it later. So we're watching it in two different areas. So we're watching it at the bar and the other people are watching it in the front area, right? But there's a delay in the game. It's about a minute to 30 seconds. And so we see it first. We see, you know, Steph hit a three, and, you know, we're like, okay, cool. And then a couple minutes later, we hear the sighs or the boos or whatever inside the front room. All right? I'm kind of laughing inside. But for a brief moment, we're living in two different worlds. One world we're living in where he actually hit the three. The other world they're living in where they hope he doesn't make it, right? So one world we're living in where they have hope, they're wishing, they're praying, anticipating, waiting. Another world we're living in, we have certainty. If I had to replace the word faith for any other word, because a lot of times people they think it's hope, they think it's real strong belief, I would say the word certainty is the best suitable definition or the best suitable synonym for faith. So while one team is looking at a world and one team is in a world where they're uncertain, there lies another team that lies in a world of certainty. And that's their reality. We had two different realities going on at the same time. So again, which one is true? The world that they were looking in where they're hoping that they don't win, or the world that I looked in and I already saw the vision? See, the funny thing about it is, as entrepreneurs, we understand this, that you have a unique perspective of the world. You have an advantage. Why? Because not only do you see the world that exists, you also see the world that can exist with your action. You can see what the world would look like if you made a difference. And believe it or not, that's the certainty. That's the certainty, right? So think about it like this. This is another sports analogy because we have to talk about that. Football fans, right? Think about football. Imagine I'm a quarterback. I drop back and I see my wide receiver has separation on his defender. Just a quick question. Where should I throw the ball? The wide receiver is running. I see him right there, probably where Mr. Mitchell's standing. Where should I throw the ball? But no one's in front of him. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. The issue with a lot of businesses, the reason why why they're irrelevant, why they go out of business, is because those businesses create a solution for a world that exists today. They create a solution that says, hey, I've got an answer to that problem. He's open. Let me throw the ball to him. Business moves at the speed of thought. And if we want to stay relevant, we've got to stay connected. In order to stay connected, we've got to anticipate where this world is going. We cannot throw the ball to him. We have to throw the ball to a place where no one is, with the certainty that the world will catch up with our dreams. We have to throw the ball to a place and anticipate what's going to happen. We got to see what people don't see. So again, which world is real? Which world is real? The world, the actual reality? Or the world you see in your head? You know? The thing about this whole concept, the thing about the analogy, and I love analogies because it helps take this big complex issue that we're talking about and it really simplifies it to some practical things that we can use and look at and see today. The idea of throwing the ball to where he's at right now is crazy, right? The idea of throwing the ball to where no one is could be just as crazy. You know, the question is always, what do you see and what are you certain of? What is your dreams? How are they real? You know? And the most important thing we have to understand is the action associated with that belief system. Okay? Because no matter what's going to happen, it won't be a completed pass if you don't throw the ball. And you won't throw the ball unless you're certain that that's where it should be. You know, I take it back to the question of just where to throw the ball. I take it back to the question of where to throw the ball, and you realize that this world, our wide receiver, they have perfect hands. You don't even have to be that accurate. You don't have to throw a perfect pass. You can throw it a little bit in front of him. You can throw it a little bit behind him. Because the world is an excellent receiver. It was designed perfectly. You guys know that wheat doesn't produce corn, right? Never. An apple tree will never produce oranges. The world is designed perfect. It does what it's supposed to do all the time. It doesn't have a choice. It was designed perfect. So are you, to be fair. You're designed perfect. You're designed to succeed. You're designed to do these things. And so all we have to do is take the time as the quarterback to be accurate. We have to develop the skill. It's not just innate. We have to develop this skill. Important, we have to have timing. We have to understand the timing of the world and how and where we throw it. The good thing about it is, once you become a good quarterback, Well, you can even lead the receiver. You can even throw it a little further and make the receiver run, make the world run to catch up to your dreams. You know? You can shift it a little bit. Think about Steve Jobs. When they were creating the iPhone and they were doing updates when you didn't even need an update. So then Samsung comes out with another phone, and then they say, oh, well, just press this button and you got an update. Why? Because the hardest thing in business to do is to stay relevant. And they wanted to make sure they stayed relevant by solving a problem before it even existed, by giving you something fresh, giving you something new. You know, I'm thinking about that game last night and how there was a delay, right? And I'm thinking that guys are talking all this trash after I already saw the game. So I'm looking at the game. I see what's happening, and the guy's like, I bet he doesn't make it. I bet he doesn't make it. And I'm going to the room like, I know he makes it because I just saw it, right? So, and a guy was just talking a lot, and I'm thinking, he's like, I bet he doesn't make it. And I'm like, would I be wrong to bet him? Would that be wrong? Would it be wrong for me to see the game and then bet the guy that thinks that? Let me ask you a question. Would it have been crazy of me? Would it have been crazy of me to see the game over here and then walk in the room and hear these guys talk about all this stuff? They know what's not going to happen. They know they're not going to, that Boston's going to win. They know it, and you can see the passion in their eyes. How crazy of me would it be to start believing them? How crazy of me would it be to start believing them who have not saw the game and give up my thoughts about how the game ends and go with them because they're so convincing? That's what it sounds like when you give up on your dreams. You've already saw it. That's like arguing about the end of a book with the author. Literally, when you have a dream, you already know the future. Entrepreneurs are dreamers. Entrepreneurs and business owners, we're the ones that throw the ball out there to a world where no one's at. We're the ones who cast our dream with the faith and with the certainty that the world is going to catch up to our dream. That's what the substance of things hoped for means. That at one point, this was inside someone's mind. I was talking to somebody about black, and they said, well, do you think it'll work? I said, man, you're sitting in my imagination. You know, these are my plans to put this right here. So the idea that my dreams aren't real is insane. While we're talking about reality, while we're talking and going through the motions of business, understand that there are two realities that exist, okay? There is an actual world, and we have to give that actual world credit. We have to at least admit that this actual world exists, all right? But there is a world that's waiting on you. There is a world that you impact that is actually different because you are a part of it. That's the bottom line. That the world would not be the same if you weren't here. Business would not be the same. Your industry would not be the same if you were not a part of it. We have to understand that. We have to understand the dynamic part of the world, the dynamic part of the reality that we create, that we're in. It's different. The worst thing you can do is wait on they. That's what I didn't realize. I've told Tisha this a lot of times, and I told my friends. I said, I knew when we made the comeback group back in 2016, it's like looking up in the sky and knowing it's about to rain. And I saw it, and I said, this is about to change. Huntsville's about to change. I can see it. I called up Kimmy and said, listen, tell me all the houses in Northwest Huntsville. Watch this, y'all. I said, under $50,000. She shot me about a list of about 50 of them. Where's that list today? Right? Right, quadrupled, if that. And so I looked up and I knew this world was changing. I knew it was going to change. Boy, I had no clue that I would be part of the day that did it. That we're the day that we're waiting on. All right? You're in business. You're looking forward. Understand this, that in order to see the world, in order to see the true world, you got to close your eyes. This whole reality thing, that's not real. What's real is your dreams. All right? Thank you.